And this next bout is for the WBC Asia Continental Super Lightweight bout. Scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing at the weight limit of 140 pounds. Inviting to the stage the WBC Supervisor Major General Damlong Sinakachornbun, Mr. Nalit Singh Wangcha, Mr. Brico Santik, the promoter, Mr. Darwin Miller, the promoter, and Mr. Supanat Jannam, the promoter. Calling to the stage from the blue corner, Mahdi Sarbaz. Inviting to the stage from the red corner, Jimmy Paypa.เชิญทุกท่านยืนขึ้นนะครับเพื่อเคารพเพลงชาติของนักมวยด้วยนะครับ May I please ask everybody to stand up and pay your respect to the national anthem of the fighters. Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 10 rounds of action, and this is for the WBC Asia Continental Super Lightweight Championship. Introducing to you first, finding out the blue corner, hailing out of Iran, with a professional boxing record of 4 victories, 1 losses, and no bouts even. Please give it up for Mahdi Sarbaz. And his opponent finding out the red corner, hailing out of and proudly representing the Philippines, with a professional boxing record of 20 wins, 6 losses, and 1 bout even. Please give it up for Jimmy Paypa. And your referee in charge of the action once it begins, referee Supap Bunrab, and the 3 judges scoring ringside, Chumpon Intayot, and Judge Thanadon Yuber, and Judge Chaweng Krukke.
Okay, folks, we will move on to our second title fight for the WBC on the card. It's the WBC Asia Continental Super Lightweight title, contested over 10 rounds. It's the Philippines taking on Iran. Really looking forward to this one. Jimmy Paypa taking on Mahdi Sarbaz. Sarbaz had such a great performance in his last fight, retiring Walid El Kahal. I mean, literally never seen it before, Jimmy, but just Walid getting overwhelmed by Mahdi and just walking out of the ring and refusing to keep competing. Mahdi literally making him quit.
Yeah, I remember that fight as well. It's one of those situations where Walid felt the referee wasn't helping him out. He felt he was being fouled against, and I think he just kind of took matters into his own hand and thought, I'm not going to continue this fight where I don't think it's being treated fairly. It is what it is. Hopefully those two can run it back. But here we are, the man, Jimmy Paypa from the Philippines. We've seen him box several times before. We've seen Mahdi fight before. I'm excited for this one. But Jimmy's already landed a beautiful left hand down the pipe. And we've got another great matchup, Southpaw against Southpaw.
Yeah, this will be a good one. I mean, Sarbaz really does pack a lot of power behind his punches. We've seen him here just knock fighters out very effortlessly, but this is a very long fight here. 10 rounds for Mahdi Sarbaz.
Yeah, Mahdi Sarbaz just, I mean, a very strong fighter, very exciting, and he isn't afraid to get scrappy and do exactly what he needs to do, flirt with the rules as much as he can, but a very exciting boxer. But look, during that stare down at the start of the fight, Jimmy Paypa's looking up at Mahdi Sarbaz, and he is not one bit intimidated. This man looked through him and is not intimidated by his size. And look, Jimmy's got a lot of power in his hands as well.
Yeah, he definitely does, and he's not respecting the power at all. Well, not say he's not respecting, he's not afraid of the power of Mahdi Sarbaz, just walking him down right now and making sure he doesn't have a lot of range at all to fire his power punches.
Yeah, there is that big difference in there between the respect level and also the fear, because you should fear the shots of any opponent because anything can put you down, but you've also got to believe in yourself as well, and that's what we're seeing with both of these fighters. Neither fighter want to lay down and act like they're intimidated by one another. Just a great start to this title fight so far.
Yeah, it really is. Sarbaz already trying to find that torpedo over the left hand of his, pushing his glove out there, right there, as a bit of a rangefinder, a bit of a staller against Jimmy Paypa.
I mean, Jimmy keeps lifting up his lead leg, which is going to take a lot of the power away from his shots if he tries to throw at the same time, but we know Mahdi likes to throw punches and bunches to the body and head, so if he catches Jimmy when he lifts up his leg, he's going to tumble to the canvas without needing to put in much power behind those shots. And there we see it. Mahdi Sarbaz pulling down on the head of Jimmy Paypa, and that was one of the issues in his previous fights. So we know he likes to flirt with the rules, he likes to get dirty, and he likes to make this a very difficult fight for his opponent, but it makes it entertaining for the audience. So let's see some of these action replays here. So Jimmy Paypa going upstairs with that nice lead uppercut as well, but we saw Mahdi Sarbaz going to the body, going to the head, really mixing up the combinations here, and that's what we want to see. We want to see someone who's going upstairs and downstairs and really putting the combinations together. We've seen a few fights tonight where there's been lots of single punch combinations. We're now starting to see a little bit of a difference here where we've got Mahdi Sarbaz inhaling one of the just taking an inhale on one of those Thai herbal things that everybody in Thailand uses. It's the magic thing that really gives you the energy throughout these fights. But a great round. What did you think of that one, Ali?
Yeah, real back and forth between the two of them. Jimmy Paypa pushing the pace and making sure that Mahdi Sarbaz just didn't bully him at all. But Sarbaz on the inside, though, landing that left straight and also just, you know, bullying Jimmy Paypa a bit on the inside.
Yeah, a very interesting one, because we saw Jimmy isn't going to allow himself to get bullied, but we also saw Mahdi doing a very good job of trying to bully Jimmy, which is a very interesting situation here. But here we are, round number 2. And look, Mahdi can't keep pushing down on somebody's head and not expecting something to happen. So that was what we saw in that last fight. It's movements like this which isn't a legal move. You can't push down the back of the neck of your opponent. However, if your opponent, and a beautiful right hand, Jimmy Paypa down to the body, down to the head.
Yeah, Jimmy Paypa really came alive right there with those 3 punches, going to the head and then going to the body. That has really stunned Sarbaz, going on the back foot right now and then going back into the pocket with that one too.
I love Jimmy did not complain to the referee. He just gave him a big shot to worry about, and that's exactly what you need to do as a boxer. Don't complain, just give him one back, and that's exactly what Jimmy Paypa just did.
Both these two cracking each other with their own power punches, going at it with the hooks. Sarbaz landing a couple of barrages of his own combinations until they go into the clinch. But you just gotta love the bravery right here of Jimmy Paypa just walking down Sarbaz and really making the Iranian fighter work for this one, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Paypa has got to know how powerful Mahdi is. He must have seen his previous fights where he made somebody almost quit in the ring, and Jimmy's just walking him down with a nice high guard, like Ronald Winky Wright, marching towards him and just trying to find those big openings. Like a Spartan with a shield, he's just using a big shield and getting that spear through as much as he possibly can. Great stuff by Jimmy Paypa.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, though. When you're an aggressive fighter and you like to command the pace, control it, just drive it on the front foot. When someone does it back to you and you don't know how to react to it, just how like Sarbaz is doing right now, it's difficult, really. But good right hook there from Sarbaz, who just took Jimmy Paypa off the center line very momentarily, Jimmy.
You've got to bully the bully. That's the best way to do it. You counter a bully by out-bullying them, and that's what I think Jimmy is just trying to do, but he's also proving he's not intimidated at all by the size and power of Mahdi Sarbaz. But this is an absolute beautiful fight so far. Mahdi Sarbaz really catching Jimmy with some great shots as well.
Good right hook there from Mahdi Sarbaz. This fight is really starting to heat up in round number 2. Jimmy Paypa just pushing a furious pace on the front foot, taking the fight to Mahdi Sarbaz, and Sarbaz just trying to fire back as best he can.
Mahdi doing the right thing here as well on the back foot, while going on the back foot, waiting for Jimmy to come towards him and then cracking him with counters. Mahdi boxing really beautifully right now. Jimmy also doing what he needs to do by going for some Hail Marys. We've got some action replays coming for you.
Yeah, what a round it was. Again, so impressed with how Jimmy Paypa is just walking through fire at the moment. Just giving Mahdi Sarbaz as good as he gets on the front foot. Going downstairs, we saw the right hook to the head and the right hook to the body. Sarbaz as well, just coming straight back in the pocket. Good straight punches and power punches from the Iranian fighter. What did you make of that round, Jimmy?
Very, very exciting. Exactly what we want to see in a title fight. We just saw the previous title fight. It was absolute fireworks, and that's what we're seeing right now. I mean, Jimmy Paypa, to me, is doing what he needs to do. Walking towards him with a high guard, not being intimidated, but Mahdi Sarbaz has now got to use the angles well. He's got to get around the guard of Jimmy Paypa. Ronald Winky Wright used to do this all the time. He was a southpaw who had very long arms. He would walk towards you with a big long guard, and he used to dominate opponents until he went up against somebody who knew how to pivot and get around it. And I would like to see Mahdi start moving around Jimmy's guard here, but what a great fight.
Yeah, that's not his style, I think. I think he just likes to stay in the pocket and just slug it back and forth, which is what we're about to see right now. I mean, Mahdi Sarbaz coming from the Cyrus Muay Thai gym, which is in Samut Prakan on the outskirts of Bangkok. And he's, you know, stablemates with Sarushat Barry, who's an awesome counter fighter for Muay Thai. And also Hassan Vadanarad, who's got a similar style to Mahdi in Muay Thai. He likes to just come forward and have a war with his opponent.
Yeah, and like you just said, it's not his style, and that's what we kind of want to see right now as well. We want to see a fight like this. We want to see two people just really put it all on the line and just go for it. It's a beautiful fight and exactly what you should expect for a title fight. A nice right hand upstairs by Jimmy, but Mahdi comes back with a beautiful combination of his own.
Jimmy getting Sarbaz getting told off for just cranking down on the neck right there. Sarbaz with the jab, left hand as well. Good step-off jab there from Sarbaz. Pivoting around, just what you wanted, Jimmy.
Yeah, he's starting to pivot, and it's exactly what you need to do. If somebody's marching towards you in one direction, change the direction, get off the line. But a great uppercut for the guard, and he finishes him nearly, but it was a low shot. Jimmy should have been protecting himself at all times. And here we are, back into the action we go.
Great uppercut there to kick things off again after that quick warning by the referee to keep your punches up. Again, Sarbaz hunting for that uppercut. Jimmy, though, really trying to find his counter punch right now on the inside. Just walking Sarbaz down. There's that right hook, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, look, Paypa's doing exactly what he should be doing, which is just coming forward, but you need to come forward with a jab. You can't just expect yourself to get on the inside. Unless Mahdi gets tired, you can't just keep walking him down. You've got to walk towards him with a jab as well. You've got to jab upstairs and downstairs, give your opponent something to worry about, but Mahdi just really coming alive now. Beautiful combinations upstairs and downstairs. Jimmy fighting back.
Straight to the body, and then hook to the head from Sarbaz. Sarbaz again clinching up.
I mean, Mahdi's not actually clinching, he's just wrapping his opponent around the back of the head. The referee could actually take a point for this as well. You can't wrap around like he's doing. Technically, you can't grab like this at all.
30 seconds to go in the third round. Sarbaz landing his left hand. Jimmy Paypa trying to slip and dip his way in, but Sarbaz tying him up in the clinch right there.
It's been a great round by both of these, but Mahdi has got underneath some of the shots of Jimmy. He's countered very well, and I think Mahdi Sarbaz is just winning this fight with some great counter work, and he's also forcing the fight to his opponent as well. Brilliant round, absolute warfare, and just trench matchups. That's what we want to see. Some of these action replays here, Mahdi Sarbaz getting through with those right hooks to the body and to the head, and this is the difference between these two fighters. Jimmy is throwing single punch combination counters. Mahdi Sarbaz is throwing 3 to 4 punches a time, and just by the sheer volume alone, Mahdi's going to win these rounds just because he's throwing more shots than Jimmy. I assume Jimmy is just praying Mahdi Sarbaz tires himself out and punches himself out so he can finally get some of his counter shots off. But we will see, Ali. What a great fight we get to witness ringside here in central Thailand, Bangkok.
Yeah, what a fight it's been. I mean, I feel like Paypa just wasn't very successful on the front foot in that round and just got outboxed quite a bit on my unofficial scorecard, at least in my opinion.
I think you nailed it there as well. I think he got outboxed at his own game. There was both boxing a very similar style. Mahdi Sarbaz was just doing a better version of it.
But I mean, like you said, you wanted Sarbaz to pivot in that round, and we saw that. Let's see if, at least if Paypa can try and cut him off instead of just follow him the whole time. I mean, following him in straight lines, it's not a great tactic to use, especially if Sarbaz keeps on angling off like this.
Absolutely. Instead of following, you need to cut off and get them where you want to. Your hooks will land even better if you know which side your opponent is moving to. If your opponent, you know, is moving to your left or right, you know which hook to throw. Jimmy's got to stop following, start cutting off the ring, and really start using a jab as well as a hook. A great hook downstairs. Mahdi tries to tangle onto him.
Yeah, ripping it to the body, Jimmy Paypa.
A great jab got through by Jimmy Paypa there as well, but Mahdi comes back with a combination of his own.
Yeah, let's see if Jimmy's going to target that body more. I mean, especially if he's going on the front foot like this. High guard, trying to slip and dip your way into the pocket. You've got to think that he's going to target the body, just like he did right there, ripping it again.
Yeah, once you get underneath a shot, you should be ripping to the body. If you get underneath, and there it is! You called it, Ali. He gets underneath a shot, goes down low, but Mahdi Sarbaz just looks so conditioned and so well-versed that he's landing great combinations. But again, he goes for the headlock. So maybe his previous opponent had a point to make here.
Yeah, Sarbaz getting caught here. Jimmy Paypa just slipping and ripping him to the body. But Sarbaz coming leaping in with that left hand. Again, right hand and going to the body as well on himself, Sarbaz.
Great body work by Mahdi Sarbaz. Mahdi Sarbaz boxing well, but also making it a bit of a dogfight as well. So one thing about Mahdi Sarbaz is he can outbox you, but he can also flirt with the rules as much as he likes. There we see it again. He pulls down on your head. He knows what he's doing. It's great stuff by both of them, but the heart of Jimmy to keep marching forward and still be swinging is great stuff as well.
Uppercut there from Jimmy, right uppercut on the front foot. Jimmy just hasn't taken his foot off the gas at all from start to finish in this fight so far. I love his work rate. And then you see there Mahdi Sarbaz catching him with the right hand and the left as well.
And it tends to be a battle of the gas tank. Who's got more gas in the tank to keep going forward and keep swinging like this? We are only in round 4, scheduled for 10. We're not even halfway, but a big lead hook landed by Jimmy. Mahdi swings right back as well.
Mahdi Sarbaz landing his left hands on the back foot, trying to pivot. Jimmy still hunting him down. Clock winds down now. We've got 10 seconds to go in this 4th round.
Jimmy with almost a Rocky Balboa style uppercut, missing the target. The crowd are going wild for this one. Ali, talk us through these replays.
Yeah, I mean, what a round it was. I mean, we saw Jimmy Paypa just ripping it to the body. Beautiful work there from the Filipino fighter, just slipping and ripping. Had a lot of time for that. And then Sarbaz just came into his own and started finding his groove as soon as he ate a few of those body shots. I kind of woke him up a bit in that round. We just stuck behind his straight punches and started to pivot around Jimmy Paypa.
I love these types of fights. Trench warfare, hook, duck, and just absolutely going for it. Neither fighter wanting to take a back foot and just putting on an absolute display of warfare for the crowd watching. And this is what you should expect to see when there's a title fight. Either two fighters boxing, slipping, and just moving around. Ali, we can see the live points here right now.
And it's 39-37 to the blue corner, so Mahdi Sarbaz is ahead on the judges' scorecards by 2 rounds. So Jimmy Paypa has really got to try and pull this one out of the bag at the moment, Jimmy.
But interestingly here is, that's got to give some hope to Jimmy that his style is still working and able to beat someone like Mahdi Sarbaz. So that proves that his style is enough to win a round as well. So both of these fighters to me have a very similar style. Mahdi's just a more active version of the style.
And Mahdi Sarbaz has got to have a bit of confidence there in his tactics at the moment, that he's up by 2 rounds on the judges' scorecards.
But as Tommy Morrison always says, there's always one punch away from a fight being ended. And that's exactly what we could see here. All it takes is one punch to put somebody down.
Sarbaz again tying up his opponent. 1-2 from Sarbaz, overhand left as well.
A good left hand as well. It landed clean. And this is the other thing here. Instead of forcing the counters, they're just swinging for each other. But I would also like to see some more feints being thrown in. If you can get your opponent to move into your shot, it's going to land even harder and you don't have to use as much energy. With that being said, everything that these two are doing is just absolutely fantastic. But Mahdi, to me, is winning this fight with just better activity and cleaner punches.
Yeah, Mahdi again pivoting around Jimmy Sarbaz, going to the body as well. Boxing so well, Sarbaz. This is the way that he likes to fight as well, Jimmy. He's really adjusted.
Yeah, I mean, we used to see middleweights box a lot like this as well. They would just duck and dive and really rip to the body. I mean, Mike McCallum was very well known for this, the body snatcher. Every time he ducked underneath your shot, he would go to the body. It didn't matter which way he was swaying. Every time he dodged one of your shots, he would land a counter to your body in every instance. And we're starting to see that with Mahdi Sarbaz. He's going to the body, and I think he's tearing up Jimmy here. And eventually, I think he's just going to win this fight just by sheer activity. But Jimmy catches him with a big shot as well.
Yeah, Sarbaz answering back though, but Jimmy again ripping it to the body. You gotta love these right hooks to the body from Jimmy Paypa.
I love that every shot Jimmy throws, he gives it his full intention to knock his opponent out. Everything he is throwing, he gives everything to. He does not look like a man who wants to give up, but Mahdi has got to be careful as well. You can never discredit someone who is in desperation, because that's where Jimmy is going to be lethal. But Mahdi, to me, is just absolutely dominating now.
Yeah, it's like every exchange. But he's really had to dig deep for it though, Sarbaz, in this fight. We've seen him bulldoze his opponents in previous bouts on this promotion. But right now, Jimmy Paypa is not going down without a fight.
And we've seen Jimmy do the same thing back as well, bulldoze his opponents through. We've got bulldozer against bulldozer. Exactly what we like to see, Ali. All right, let's see some of these action replays as well. From that round, there was a big left hand that got through for Jimmy, but Mahdi Sarbaz constantly ripping to the head and to the body. But you can see from these replays, both fighters just missing each other by inches in some situations, which is a good sign that they're reading each other really, really well. Just an exciting round. One of those fights where you don't really need to understand boxing to really enjoy what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete different kettle of fish compared to our previous title fight, where we saw just a bit of a stalemate of those two fighters, Jessie Pagaduan and her opponent, Pialak. How Jessie was just going on the back foot and just wasn't engaging that much, and then Pialak just trying to close her down, whereas these two are just trying to just meet each other in the middle, but more so Sarbaz is angling off.
You could also argue that if they saw that last fight where I thought Jesse did enough to win that fight, they might realize that they can't leave it to the judges' scorecards. They've got to try and end it as soon as they possibly can. But here we are for round number 6, Ali.
Yeah, here we go. We're just over the halfway mark now in this title fight. If we go that far, let's see if one of these two can finish it inside the distance. It's Mahdi Sarbaz in the blue taking on Jimmy Paypa in the red.
I'm surprised it's gone this far. Both fighters have taken huge shots in this fight so far, but neither fighter want to lay down. Both fighters are trying to end it. I mean, I don't think we've even seen a jab recently. We've just seen hook after hook. It's almost very reminiscent of when Evander Holyfield fought George Foreman as well. It was just hook after hook.
Jab there from Mahdi Sarbaz as he moves laterally around his opponent. Great footwork being demonstrated here by the Iranian. Jimmy Paypa trying to land the uppercut on the back foot, but having no success. And that left hand just sneaks through the guard of Jimmy Paypa from Mahdi Sarbaz.
Jimmy Paypa looking like he's getting very tired now. Mahdi has just got to turn it up ever so slightly, and he might be able to put Jimmy away here. It is really just a battle of who wants it more and who's got more energy than the other person. But you know, Mahdi Sarbaz is also tired as well. I just think he's better at hiding how tired he is in this situation.
Jimmy Paypa going down low to the body again, trying to rip it with that right hook. Had a lot of success with that in an earlier round, but just hasn't found the same success in round number 6.
I mean, also the great thing here is they're both southpaws, so they've both got the same counter punches as well. If it was an orthodox against a southpaw of a fight like this, you'd see lots of head clashes, you'd see lots of foot tangles, and they would be smothering each other. This, to me, has been a very, very clean war.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often that we get to call southpaw versus a southpaw matchup, but it's something that you definitely love to see. A real clash of styles between, well, no, sorry, not a clash of styles at all. They're both carbon copies of each other, but just...
But it does clash itself, because if you know what your opponent's capable of, it's because you're capable of it as well. So you're clashing in the sense of, I know what you can do and you know what I can do situation as well. And it's great. Clash of the Titans, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. There's Sarbaz with a left uppercut. Jimmy Paypa not being phased by it though, coming forward, breathing a little bit heavy though in round 6, Jimmy Paypa.
But this is the interesting thing here. Mahdi Sarbaz has given Jimmy every shot he possibly can. He's hit him with the hardest shots that, to me, would have put most people on the canvas. And Jimmy has not once stopped going forward. That is the mental warfare that Jimmy plays on you. He just keeps coming forward, but Mahdi now coming alive. He's got Jimmy against the ropes. He stumbles ever so slightly, and both fighters giving it everything they've got. Final seconds of this round, and a great round, a great sequence to finish it. We're going to go to some action replays.
Yeah, here we go with the replays right here. So we see that left hand sneak through a couple of times there on the replay for Mahdi Sarbaz, and going upstairs with the right hook. Again, it really was such a dominant round for the Iranian fighter, who just really outboxed Jimmy Paypa again, was waiting for him with these real quick, short, sharp punching combinations, going upstairs to the head and downstairs to the body, Jimmy.
I thought this was just a great fight, but we're starting to see Jimmy is now following Mahdi rather than trying to set up his shots. Instead of trying to set up the shots, he's just following him and hoping Mahdi gets tired. Now, we're entering the final rounds of this fight, where it gets to the point of whoever has more energy can really put somebody away. And you know what it's like, Ali? The more tired you are, the harder the shots will hit as well. So it's one of those situations where we could get to the 10th round and still see somebody get knocked down.
Yeah, that could potentially happen. You never know. Let's see if Mahdi Sarbaz and Jimmy Paypa have got enough energy in the tank to go the distance if they need to.
And here we go. Mahdi just once again teeing off with hook after hook. Neither fighter want to throw a jab. They just want to throw everything they've possibly got at one another and hope one will one will fall over.
Sarbaz tying up his opponent in the clinch.
I mean, that clinch has just been a short respite for both of these fighters, but neither are really fighting in the clinch anymore. They're using that clinch for about 3 seconds. The referee breaks them. They get straight back into the action.
Overhand left there from Sarbaz. Right hook too. That overhand left hitting the shoulder of Jimmy Paypa, but no doubt that's going to take some of the energy, some of the power out of his punches.
The fitness level, the conditioning and the heart these two fighters have to put on a fight at this caliber, to constantly move forward for a hook after hook and take big shot after big shot, but still keep moving forward, is absolute beautiful boxing, and it's exactly what a title fight needs to be every time. Something like this to entertain the masses. Beautiful stuff. Win or lose, there is no loser in this fight, really.
Left hand there down the middle from Mahdi Sarbaz. Both these two are tired, no doubt about it. We're in round 7 now of 10.
And the referee not allowing him to rest any longer in that clinch. And it is just a situation of who is less tired and who is landing more shots. But to me, Mahdi Sarbaz is now dominating this fight. I think Jimmy Paypa is going down to a situation where he'll need a Hail Mary to put Mahdi to the canvas.
Yeah, he really does, but we've definitely seen it happen before. And Paypa looks like he's trying to use the right hook to the body as his Hail Mary, but it just hasn't been able to phase Sarbaz too much in these later rounds.
Yeah, I mean, those body shots, I mean, when you've hit an opponent with a huge body shot and it's barely stunned them, it's very disorientating for yourself because you feel like you can't do anything to them. But if you believe you can find the right shot, you know, a man usually has the floating rib, the solar plexus, the liver shots. If you can find it, you don't need much power to put somebody down.
No, you don't. It's all about placement, really, with those body shots. And like you always say, timing beats power and speed all the time. If you can time one of those body shots perfectly, it will be the end of your opponent's night.
I mean, if you think of those classic fights and that classic trilogy between Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward, both fighters fought like this. Barely any clinching, yet it was still a body shot that put their fighters to the canvas. So here we go, Mahdi Sarbaz nearly finishing Jimmy Paypa in that sequence just there as he leans on top of him. Wow. It looks like we're going to an 8th round. Who thought it would have gone this far? Here we are with some action replays. Mahdi Sarbaz just teeing off on Jimmy on the ropes. And this is pretty much what the fight has been so far. Jimmy Paypa with a few punches in between, but Mahdi Sarbaz with about 4 more shots for every 1 shot that Jimmy has been throwing. And we see Mahdi still dancing around left to right, pivoting in and out. And look at the face of Jimmy Paypa. He realizes what type of fight he's in, and he's only got a few more rounds to try and take this away.
Yeah, and it's definitely possible, though. It's definitely possible to try and call this back, like we keep saying, with one Hail Mary of a punch. But a huge arse, though. Time is really on the side of Mahdi Sarbaz, but not so much on the side of Jimmy Paypa.
I mean, I hope Jimmy just comes out and tries something a little bit different in the sense of at least setting up some of these hooks to the body rather than just trying to force a hook warfare. At least try and set something up. But here we are, folks, round 8.
Yeah, round 8 of this 10-round affair. And straight away, Jimmy Paypa goes crashing into the pocket, trying to land one of his hooks to the body, swinging and missing with one there.
And we start to see the 1-2 being utilized by Mahdi Sarbaz. Maybe a sign that he is getting a little bit tired now, and he realizes he's got the man from Philippines, Mr. Jimmy Paypa, just coming forward, and he is not going to stop. He will constantly keep hunting you down until the fight is over. Mahdi has got to know that deep down, nothing he can do right now is going to stop Jimmy.
No, nothing at all at the moment, not at this pace. Jimmy has walked through a lot, taken a lot of damage here, almost been a battering ram.
And here we are just ducking and weaving in and out, going to the body. And it looks like Mahdi Sarbaz is doing everything he can now to clinch onto Jimmy Paypa. Either this is a sign that Mahdi just needs a round to take a breather, but if Jimmy just keeps pushing the pace, keeps jabbing upstairs, hopefully he can get those hooks to the body. But I think Mahdi is just a little bit too active and a little bit too accurate.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Jimmy. Jimmy Paypa just trying so hard to claw his way back into this fight on the inside, but keeps on getting clocked every single time by Mahdi Sarbaz. Saw it earlier on there with that straight left down the middle.
And he also is starting to hit to the hips of Jimmy Paypa. Once you take that many shots to the hips when you're tired, it really stops your movement as well. It's a very old school move that the Americans like to use, which is just hitting the hips of your opponent, and you start to see Mahdi Sarbaz doing that right now.
Yeah, 100%. Sarbaz doesn't need to risk it too much as well. We've seen him go in some real wars on this promotion. He doesn't really need to. He can just kind of hide behind his jab a bit and just pick his shots very wisely instead of getting into a back and forth war, which is exactly what Jimmy Paypa wants, because he's trying to get back into this fight desperately, Jimmy. Yeah,
very good point. I mean, Mahdi Sarbaz could jab and grab. He could jab and grab and win this fight, but that also proves something about Mahdi Sarbaz. He isn't willing to take the easy way out. He's still willing to go toe-to-toe with an opponent that, to me, he's winning quite convincingly.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, doesn't want to make this a boring fight at all, which you've got to give him credit for. Like you said, he could easily just jab and grab on the outside, but he doesn't necessarily want to do that too much. See him just stepping off there to land that left hand and then going into the clinch. So there's a bit of, not necessarily jab and grab, but more jab, well, straight left, right hook, and then grab.
Yeah, he's still putting combinations together, so it's just another version of the jab and grab. And again, Mahdi doesn't have to do this. He could now just kind of dance his way to victory, but again, either he's not confident with himself or he realizes that Jimmy's never going to stop coming forward. Jimmy has to do something spectacular. Ali, talk us through these rounds.
I mean, it was such a dominant 8th round of action. See here, Sarbaz just pivoting on the turn there, just landing the check shots as he goes. That left hand was absolute money for Sarbaz in that 8th round, and Jimmy Paypa tried so hard to walk his man down and to land that right body rip to the body, but just didn't pay off at all. See Sarbaz there, there's Hassan Bananarad, who I mentioned early on, one of his teammates, an absolute, you know, bulldozer of a Muay Thai fighter, loves to have a war with his opponents, similar to Mahdi Sarbaz as well. The Cyrus Gym really out in force at the moment here at Highland Boxing Promotions.
You could say it as Paypa for him. Happy Halloween. All right, we're going into round number 9 here. I've definitely got Mahdi Sarbaz winning this fight quite convincingly. But again, we never really know what's going on.
No, we definitely don't.
79 to 73.
So all 3 judges scoring it 79 to 73 to the blue corner, Mahdi Sarbaz. So, I mean, with that much of, you know, a landslide of a score, Jimmy, I mean, you're up by 6 rounds. I mean, are you just going to stay on the outside, or are you going to go for it and finish in style?
I mean, it depends who you are. Like we've said before, it doesn't matter if you win or lose on these situations, as long as you put on a good fight. I just think Mahdi doesn't like to go out that way. I don't think that's Mahdi's style. I think Mahdi just likes to have a fight with you, and I don't think he's just wants to do that. He could do it, and he doesn't want to. He knows he's winning. He knows he doesn't have to do this, yet he's still doing a fight like this. I mean, that is a lot of credit to Mahdi Sarbaz to do something like this. And here we are with the live scoring, as Ali just mentioned, 79-73. 79 in the blue corner, 73 to the red. Jimmy has got to know this now. Jimmy cannot box Mahdi. He needs to knock the man out.
Yeah, he definitely does. As much as he possibly can. The thing is, Paypa just can't get past this forward pressure from Mahdi. Well, it's just his straight punches just stopping him in his tracks. Overhand left there from Mahdi as well. Jimmy just can't really slip and dip his way out of it.
I mean, the most surprising thing of this fight is neither fighter has gone down. Both fighters have taken huge haymakers. They've taken the best shot possible from each of their opponent. Neither fighter has even stumbled. Neither fighter has even wobbled. It's been an absolute warfare of iron chins, heart of the lion, and just absolute fantastic close quarters boxing.
Yeah, it definitely has. And you make a good point there. I'm surprised that neither of these two scored a knockdown. We've definitely seen both of them do it in their previous bouts here. We haven't seen one so far tonight. I mean, that just shows how close it's been. Good right hand though there from Mahdi Sarbaz. As soon as I said it, just, you know, it's like really caught Jimmy Paypa off guard.
And that was one of those shots where we've seen so many good shots in this fight, but that was one of those clean shots where neither fighter even expected it to land, and it almost wobbled Jimmy there. But Jimmy, to me, has taken lots and lots of damage right now, and he's in a situation where he's completely down on the scorecards. His corner's got to be telling him in this round, for round number 10, he just needs to be spectacular. I mean, to even come out in the 10th round when you know you're losing this hard, you need to do something crazy and amazing to win this fight. We're going to go to some action replays in just a moment here.
What a round that was. I mean, again, Sarbaz probably finding out that he's 6 rounds up on the judges' scorecards and just taking his time off a little bit, going on the back foot, which you don't normally see him do, especially in the previous fights, making it a lot harder for Jimmy Paypa to sort of engage with him and try and just sort of pulling himself back into this fight. He's got to have a huge miracle, I mean, in this 10th and final round. If he can pull this off, that would be a real comeback of the year for us on Highland Promotions. I mean, it's Halloween, but neither of these two have been spooked by each other's styles. It's been a great all-out war between Mahdi Sarbaz from Iran in the blue and Jimmy Paypa from the Philippines in the red.
Yeah, it's been just a great fight so far. Every second of this fight has been exciting, and now we're in the 10th round. We're in a situation where it doesn't feel like neither fighter is losing, but we're in a situation where we know Mahdi is winning, and we know Jimmy has to do something like a knockout to win this fight. He has to knock out Mahdi Sarbaz to win. Can he do it? We will find out in 2 minutes 50 seconds.
Left hand there again from Mahdi Sarbaz. Going to the body there, slipping down to the canvas.
The only time the fighters have entered the canvas is via a quick slip there. We're back into the action. Both fighters in central ring, and we see him slip once again. So clearly that middle of the ring is very slippy. Veteran fighters, what they'll do is they'll drag you to certain parts of the ring where they know it's slippy, and that's where they start delivering their big shots as well. Going upstairs right now, trying to find an opening. Mahdi with a beautiful overhand left, and then just grabs onto Jimmy Paypa.
Yeah, I mean, you see Farshad, Mahdi Sarbaz's manager, owner of the Cyrus Gym, shouting at his fighter just to stay on the outside and just keep the fight safe. Don't risk it too much. Just something I can tell you right now. I see Farshad's fighters fight every week almost, and they're not like this at all. They normally just have to go forward every single round. So it's probably a bit of a breath of fresh air for Farshad, seeing his fighter be so ahead on the scorecards and be almost running away with this win at the moment, Jimmy.
Yeah, they're used to going forward, but we're in a situation where Mahdi doesn't need to go forward anymore. He just needs to dance on the back foot. Halfway through this round, he's 1 minute 24 seconds away from possibly winning the WBC Asia Continental Super Lightweight belt. That's all he has to do. He has to survive. And now it's a case of, can Jimmy do something spectacular? Can he somehow take out this opponent? It's hard to knock someone out who's in the center of the ring as well.
Yeah, he took the words right out of my mouth there. Spectacular. We've said it so many times before, but it's definitely happened. But now the clock is just winding down. We've got less than a minute to go in this 10th and final round of this championship fight. And I just feel like Sarbaz still playing it so safe, controlling the fight so well with his footwork. Just look at how he's pivoting off to the right. He's
playing it safe, but not as safe as he possibly could either. He's still taking a bit of a risk here. I mean, the only fight I can really think of is when we saw Carl Froch lose 12 rounds and then knock his opponent out within the final 35 seconds or so. It can happen, but is it going to happen in this fight? Very unlikely. I think Mahdi Sarbaz is now boxing way too smart to allow this to happen.
Left hand down the middle there from Sarbaz, being tied up in the clinch. 10 seconds to go in this 10th and final round. Swinging to the fences here is Jimmy Paypa. Sarbaz with a bit of a taunting going on, and that is the end What a fight between these two. And we're going to the scorecards, but I think we all know in the stadium who won that fight.
What a fight. What an absolute fight we just saw. Two fighters, not once did they take a back foot, not once did they not go for the knockout. They pushed the pace, they did everything they could to win that fight, and credit to Jimmy as well. I don't think he's won this fight. It was just an absolute brilliant display by Jimmy Paypa. And look, if he asked for a rematch, he would definitely deserve it. Everything that man did in that ring was fantastic. Here we are with Peter Denman. Thanks for watching. We'll go to the next fight very soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, all three judges scores it the same, 91-9. And your winner, by way of unanimous decision, fighting out of the blue corner, Mahdi Sarbaz. He is the new WBC Asia Continental Super Lightweight Champion.